is Friday, January 18th, 2019. Welcome to my Twitch stream. Today, we're going to keep working on the Twitch IRC bot that I created in Pony. The idea here is to show people how to how to use Pony to write servers and clients and networked applications. So yeah, welcome, and let's see what we can do here. So last time I just spent a little bit of time kind of trying to clean up some of the code, move some things around. What I'd like to do is sorry. Yeah, what I'd like to do right now, this is just kind of a monolithic application. I would like to move some things around a little bit and try to turn this into something that's maybe a little bit more of a library that people could use to write their own Twitch IRC chatbots. And we made some progress towards that last week. So let's kind of keep going with that theme and see what we can do. So let's start by maybe moving everything that's generic out into a different file here. So create a file, and we'll just call it botlib pony for now. And I think what we're going to do is, for now, let's take just about everything except for the class my IRC message responder and the main actor and move them out into this other file. So that should work. Let's see here. I need to use debug here in main as well. So the way Pony works is you can have your classes and actors and primitives and everything just defined in files. You can have more than one of these things in a file, so it's not like Java where there's a one-to-one correspondence or anything. And as long as they're all in the same directory, they're treated as being part of the same package, and so you don't need to import anything special to use them. So let's do that. Go back here and let's just make sure that Pony C works. Oh, I guess I have TCP connection. So this is saying that it can't find definition of TCP connection. So the problem is that in main.pony, I'm using TCP connection here, which is part of the net package, but I'm not actually importing that. So I need to import that, use it. Hey, Taylor. You do what you got to do. Okay, so that compiled. Let's move on here. Okay, so what we've done is we've got kind of the generic library code in here in this botlib.pony, and we've got our application specific code in here. So there's probably a few more parts that we could consider moving out, or not. For now, let's maybe not worry about it. Right now, we'll just assume that an application somehow gets a username, a password, and the channel that it needs to connect to, and then it will basically call this TCP connection thing here. So good enough. Let's just make sure that Mr. Ed can connect. So we'll source our credentials file, and then we'll do this. And there it is. He showed up in the channel and he said Wilbur. So we'll Control C out of here and keep going. All right. So looking at this, let's start the process of moving things out. So I'm going to move the bot library to its own directory. Okay. So we've called that Twitch_IRC_bot. So we're going to go back here into main, and now we're actually going to use that library. So if you put something in a separate directory, that basically creates another package. And so we need to tell it to use things from that package. So again, let's compile. Let's remember to use debug here. And it builds, so great, that worked. All right. So the next thing that I want to do then is let's start moving these things apart a little more. And we'll start looking at the Pony package manager, which is called stable. And we'll take a little bit of a look at how to start using stable so that you can use different packages in your project. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a directory called my Twitch IRC bot. And let's move our main.pony and our credentials file into this directory. Oops, that's not what I meant to do at all. Oh, this could get exciting. All right. go get those credentials back. Because I just overwrote my credentials file. Pretend like something really exciting is happening here. Okay. Sorry, that was just me moving some files around and keeping this off screen just so that I don't totally leak my credentials. Which I've just done. So, hey, nice work, Andy. Oh, whatever. If somebody wants to impersonate me, maybe I can actually change those later. Okay, so let's try to do what I wanted to do here. Actually move those files into this directory. And just kill some things off here in Emacs. Okay. So now I've got my bot here sitting in my Twitch IRC bot, and I've got my library over here in Twitch IRC bot. So what I'd like to do is have a way of using that library in my program here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start using stable. And take a look at stable. So stable is a simple dependency manager for the Pony language. Invoke in a working directory containing a bundle.json. So what we're going to do here is we are going to call stable add local, and I've gotten this far, and now let's open up the stable documentation and take a look at it so that I can remember exactly how to do this. So if you go to, it's under Pony stable. Okay. So if we come over here, so what stable will do is it'll let you specify various types of dependencies that you want to pull into your project. And so you can have things that are in GitHub, GitLab, local Git project, non-local project. Those are your options. So what I want to do right now is have a local dependency. I want to depend on the Twitch IRC bot. So let's just do this. Okay, and what that does is it creates this bundle.json file. And it's a JSON file with a little bit of information here about how to find the dependencies. So we want to run stable fetch. And oh, actually, I don't think we do stable fetch since this is local. So then in order to build using the dependencies that we've defined over here in stable, we're going to need to build with stable. So we need to do stable env ponyc debug dot. And what this does is it tells stable to use the pony compiler that we've got and build things, but to use the package information from bundle.json. And there we go, it built. So let's just take a look at what would have happened if we hadn't done that. If we had just tried to run ponyc dot, it'll complain. It'll say, could not locate this path. And the reason for that is that we're in a completely different directory now. It has no idea where that thing would be. So now that we've gone down this path, we have to start using stable to build. That's okay. It's pretty cool that we have the option of doing this even. So let's keep going with this. So I'm going to clean up, now I'm back in the library directory. So I'm going to remove a few files here. Not even sure I need the git ignore anymore. Okay, so I should have this package here. And now I should be able to put it on GitHub and actually start using it. So let's go to GitHub. Let's create a new repo. We'll initialize it with a README. Choosing the license. Should go with an MIT license. And create the repository. All right. And let's see here. Let's just be lazy here. So we're gonna add that Twitch IRC bot directory. Push that up. Okay. So now let's change stable. Let's change our configuration file to use the version that's up there in GitHub. So let's just blow away the bundle. Start over. If we go back and look at stable, so the way to use a GitHub project is like this. So we can do okay. So we end up with this .deps directory, and that is where our dependencies live. And there's our info inside the bundle. And so we should be able to build this again using stable. And yay, it built. So now we've got a library out there that people could use if they wanted to. So this is all pretty cool. Let's see if we can get connected here. Yep. Give me a second. There we go. Mr. Ed has connected, and that's very exciting. Okay. So now we have an idea of how to use stable to pull in dependencies from other places. And so there is a project called main, and let's take a look at that real quick. Main.actor. So main.actor is intended to be a package repository list. So you can come over here, and basically we don't have a lot of packages right now listed in main.actor. But this is kind of where we're trying to start listing those things so that you could potentially find packages to do useful things that you wanted to do. There are Pony packages out there. If you look, I have at least 2 packages for doing open sound control work. Let's see, there's a GymC has a CRDT package as well. I believe as a bunch of other things. He's got Pony CRDT for CRDTs, Pony Zero and Q, Pony Sodium, Pony Inspect. Yeah, so if you kind of know where to look, you can dig around and find packages that might be useful to you. And again, main.actor is where we will hopefully start building up a collection of packages. So if you write a useful package for Pony, get it in here, and I will try to do the same. All right, so we made it that far. We've got the IRC bot that we've written separated out from the library that implements some of the functionality. So that's kind of cool here. All in a half hour. So let's see, what other fun, interesting things can we show here? Let's see. Let's maybe take a look at cleaning the package up a little more. So, gosh, I don't know. There's probably a lot of things that we could do to make this better. So if we look at the documentation for Twitch IRC chatbots, this is kind of the document that tells you how to use a chatbot, or how to write a chatbot rather. So let's see, we support join, part, improve message. In order to receive state events for these things, we need to modify the scope for a user. So let's see what we can do here. First off, let's wrap up a few of these commands and make them a little nicer. So let's create some wrappers for join part and priv message. And these things are all going to take a TCP connection. And various arguments. So for join, I'm going to pass the channel name. For part, take the channel name. And priv message, the channel name and the message. So for join, we're going to do you know what, let's not even worry about that IRC message string thing. We'll just do this. Okay, and that's going to give us some wrappers for sending these kinds of messages. Let's go back to our bot and so one thing that I haven't really developed a great workflow for is how to go back and forth between using a package that's on GitHub and a package that you've got local. I think what I'm going to do is move the bundle that I've got here to bundle local.json. Add the local one. Okay, so my bundle local should actually be called bundle GitHub. Yeah, because it has the GitHub information. So that was silly of me, but let's fix that. And I'm going to copy this one that I just created into bundle local. And now I should be able to flip back and forth between these. As needed. Okay. So I added those functions. I didn't do anything with those functions yet, but let's just see what we can do. Can we build it? Is the question. So we're going to build using stable. And it builds. I didn't expect anything less, obviously. So let's see here. Where are we doing a join? Over here. So instead of doing this, let's change this to IRC command join. Cool. Ooh, I think I did something silly here. Maybe. I had to have this colon ampersand. Let's just put that in here. I think. Don't remember if that's strictly necessary or not. But I feel like it didn't work without it, so let's do that. Okay, so now instead of using a raw join, I am using, like, instead of directly writing out on the connection, I am writing it out using IRC command. So let's try that. Congratulations on the interview, Taylor. Okay. That built. Let's try connecting again. Hi, Mr. Ed. Okay. Let's just say hello. Things are going all right in Ponyland here. We're just kind of working on extracting the IRC bot into an IRC bot library and an IRC application. Interesting. So you said hello at famous Mr. Ed, and Mr. Ed did not respond. I think that's because, well, yeah. We can go back and look at the code later. Yep, it's the @ sign. I probably did something silly where it wasn't going to find that. I don't remember what that was, but let's take a look at that in a minute. So for now, okay, so we changed our join to use IRC command. Let's change our private messages to use Oh, I see I have my channel name hard-coded in here. That's not exactly what I want to do. So let's start moving some things around here. Oh, okay. So for now, let's leave it hard-coded. Cool. All right. Let's rebuild again. Get into the part of the stream where it's a lot of just rebuilding and checking to see if we didn't do anything stupid. There we go. Famous Mr. Ed connects again. Yay. Okay. So that's pretty cool, I guess. So right now we've got a few things here where we've kind of hard-coded our responses. Let's move these things out into something a little bit different. So the first thing I want to do is I want to let's see. Basically, I want a way. So if you're familiar with IRC, or if you remember from the last chat, IRC basically has some commands that have these human readable forms, like ping and private message, and other commands that are just numeric codes. So for now, you know what, let's just be even more generic for now. We're just going to have something called command that just gets the command and the parameters. And we're going to have a handler. Let's have our own, let's have a handler for ping, which takes just a param. We're going to give this, oh, and a connection. So we're going to give this a default implementation. And it's basically going to be this. So if a user wants to implement their own if a user wants to implement their own ping handler, they can, but otherwise it'll just use the generic one that we have here. And we're going to give this an empty implementation too, so that a user doesn't have to implement anything there if they don't want. Okay, and so let's build. Let's make sure I haven't done anything too bad, haven't screwed up. And what happened? Can't reuse name command. 148. What did I do wrong here? Okay, so I have a method called command, and I also have a parameter called command. And so Pony doesn't actually care that these could probably be disambiguated in the compiler. Pony wants to keep you from doing anything silly. So it won't let you have a parameter and a function with the same name. Basically, it tries very hard to prevent shadowing. So let's do what we sometimes do here, and yeah, I'm sure I don't really like that, but let's do that for now. Maybe we can come up with something better later. Okay, so that works. All right. So let's now move some things around here. So what we're going to do is, this is a match that takes whatever the command string is and checks it against some known things, and then calls the IRC message responder method that should handle this thing. So 366 is the, hey, we've received the end of the names, the list of names in the channel command. So that's when we were printing Wilbur. Let's change that around a little bit. So let's make that basically, we want to say if we don't know what the command is, if it's not priv message or something known, then let's just call IRC message responder command with connection, the command, and the params. And then we can basically get rid of this code altogether. And now let's add a handler over here. That handles that. So params should be an array, string, what did we do here for params? I think params is a ref. Yeah, so should just be able to do this. Okay. Gonna clean our code up a little bit, reformat it here. Okay, so down here we have our method. And so we want to match on command name. And so now we've moved this 366 handler out of the generic library code and over here into our application, our specific TwitchBot application. So rebuild. Cross our fingers. Okay. Built. Let's see if we handle things correctly. And we get Wilbur again. So we are correctly catching that command from the server and then passing it off to the handler that we've written. So that's kind of neat. All right. So I need to get going here. I will finish this up. I need to go do some family related things. But anyway, hopefully you've gotten a better idea of kind of how to use dependencies in Pony, and next time I guess we'll kind of continue the process of extracting pieces of the application from the library so that eventually we can have an independent library and then write our application against that. Thanks for coming and have a good weekend.